Since OpenAI released ChatGPT publicly in 2020, we've seen AI change nearly every part of our world, and education is no exception. But what does that really mean for us as teachers? Today, we'll unpack what AI is, what it can and can't do, how you can think about using it safely in your teaching. Welcome to part one in our AI Literacy Academy, Demystifying AI, Understanding the Role of AI in Teaching. Imagine this 60% of teachers in a survey reported they're already using AI in their classrooms, yet 68% of those same teachers said they had received no formal training on the tools. Meanwhile, 1 in 4 teachers in this same survey said they believed AI does more harm than good in education. At the same time, the job market is transforming rapidly. AI is projected to eliminate 85 million jobs, but to create 95 million new ones this year. And already 1.6% of all job postings require AI skills. With AI already embedded in tools teachers use every day, from Google Workspace to grading platforms, it's important that educators understand both the opportunities and the challenges. The question isn't whether AI belongs in education, it's already here. The question is are we preparing our students for this reality while ensuring that they have the support they need? Hi, I'm Danica. I'm an instructional technology professional development specialist. I've worked as a digital learning coordinator, instructional designer, K through 12 digital learning coach, but also 10 years as a classroom teacher and department chair. If you'd like to connect, I am on Instagram, LinkedIn, X, and YouTube as Danica or Teaching in Chucks. In this session, we'll cover what AI is and isn't in plain language, the benefits of using it in your teaching, the risks and challenges such as bias, misinformation, and ethics, what to be aware of when it comes to you and your students' data and privacy, and how to approach using AI responsibly as an educator. Then we'll close with some practical challenges so you can show what you've learned and share in our community. Let's go. Part one, what is AI and what it isn't in plain language? AI, or artificial intelligence, is a computer's ability to perform tasks that we normally associate with human intelligence, such as thinking, understanding, problem solving, planning, and decision making. It's important to note that it's been around since the 1950s, but it's this decade where we've seen a breakthrough where AI can generate original text, images, video, code, and other content. So, how have we already been using AI powered content? I think about my favorite Netflix or Amazon Prime recommendations. How does it know? How does it continue to recommend stories that will just pull you in? And it's because the more we watch, the more it begins to learn our preferences. The same thing with the music that we listen to, whether it's Spotify or Apple. That's how you get your perfect playlist. AI can learn based on our patterns and our input. Maybe when you're talking to Alexa or Siri, or you're writing an email through Gmail, you've probably seen the way it offers suggestions and feedback in order to help you write better. I know what you're thinking. It does so much and it's everywhere. Is there even going to be a need for teachers in the future? I'm here to remind you that AI is not a replacement for teachers. It will never fully think like you do or do all that you do for students. At the end of the day, the A in AI still stands for artificial. While it's powerful and some think and talk about AI like it's infallible, the truth is it's been trained or inputted with lots of data and it's trying its best to answer your question with a human-like response, but it's going to make mistakes. Let's talk about some of the mistakes we see in AI. First up, hallucinations, or straight up making up the facts. For example, when asked about a historical event, an AI might confidently state that the Treaty of Versailles was signed in 1920, but it was actually signed in 1919, or create some entirely fictional historical figures with detailed biographies. AI can generate information that sounds authoritative, but it's completely incorrect. This happens when AI tries to predict words that should come next based on patterns, not actual knowledge. It can fill gaps with plausible sounding but false information. Another example is where AI might incorrectly solve multi step word problems, make basic arithmetic mistakes in complex calculations, or provide wrong answers to geometry problems while showing confident step by step work that looks correct. Why does this happen? While AI can follow mathematical patterns, it doesn't truly understand math concepts and can make logical errors, especially in problems requiring multiple reasoning steps. And for our last example, errors in citing your sources. So, for example, when you ask AI to cite sources for information, it might create fake academic papers, attribute real quotes to wrong authors, or provide non existent URLs and publication dates. It might say something like, according to Dr. Smith's 2023 study published in the Journal of Education, when no such study actually exists. Why does this happen? AI generate text that follows the pattern of proper citations without actually accessing real databases or verifying that those sources exist. So, what's the takeaway for us as teachers? These examples show us why AI should be treated as a starting point for research and creativity, but not as definitive sources of truth. Students still need to learn to verify information and think critically about AI generated content. 2. Benefits of teaching with AI. It's an exciting time to be a teacher because AI has really changed the way we work. It's a time saver, helping you with lesson planning, creating assessments, grade and give feedback, support for your administrative tasks like weekly newsletters and report card comments. But it can also help you personalize the learning experience for your students, helping you to adapt the content for different reading levels and learning styles. My favorite way to use AI is to help teachers enhance their own creativity, taking what you've done and improving it to create more engaging materials. With so many great and powerful platforms out there, I get asked a lot, where do I get started? Personally, I'll always start with a tool developed by teachers for teachers and students so that you know issues like privacy and protection have been thought through, and then it depends on your goal. Like we just said, it can help you improve your lesson planning, feedback, personalization, creativity. Start with those goals in mind. Here are some tools that we think are a great starting place. Each of these started with teachers and students in mind and have a personal mission to improve teaching and learning. They're all FERPA and COPA compliant, and if you don't know what that is, we'll cover that in the next session. But best of all, they're free to get started with, so follow along with me as I give you a brief introduction to each. In the following courses, you'll have an opportunity to dive more into each of these. Canva has an AI tab where if you choose Design for Me, just click and choose your project. There's also Create an Image where you get to choose your style and dimensions. With Draft a Doc, you can choose your type from the drop-down menu and choose any of these. Or you can code everything from certificates, your grocery list, or biology quiz. New, there's even a tool to create a video clip, 8 seconds, where you can choose the style of the video, your dimensions. Again, right now it's only 8 seconds. Framing and lighting. If you're curious to see what any of these do, just scroll down and check out the samples. Next up, Magic School. With Magic School, there are hundreds of tools organized by categories: instructional materials, planning, student support, feedback and assessment, communication, admin. Just click on a category, choose a tool, and input your information. When you're ready for students to have AI support for their classroom assignments, you can even check out the Magic Student tab. Under Student Tools, you'll find several tools to help students do everything from be creative, get feedback on their writing, chat with historical figures, and help them generate ideas. With Brisk, you install the Chrome extension and it hovers in your web browser. Open up a resource or start from a blank Google Doc, and you can do anything from creating a quiz, a rubric, lesson plan, math word problems. Such a power-packed tool. If I click this back button, it also has a student side called Brisk Boost, where you can take anything and convert it into an activity for your students. There's 3 tabs: engage, assess, and write. So again, whatever your focus is, helping students brainstorm, inquire, do a quick pulse check. You can create these and then assign them to your students. With the Writing tab, With your students writing open, Brisk will analyze their Google Doc and give them things like glows and grows, coach them through their writing, and give feedback and guidance on the next steps. So, to anyone looking for a great place to start with generative AI tools, check out these. So, what did you think? Are you ready for a challenge? Now that you know a little bit about what each of these platforms is capable of, your challenge is to explore a little bit more. We can't wait to see what you share in our community. We've already discussed how AI can make mistakes. Let's explore some other risks and challenges you as educators need to be aware of when using AI. Welcome to part 3, Risks and Challenges. As you have seen, AI has the potential to be a powerful tool that can support teaching and learning, but it requires constant vigilance, critical thinking, and human judgment. As educators, we must be aware of its limitations and ethical implications while teaching our students to be thoughtful, questioning users of technology rather than passive consumers of whatever AI produces. Let's explore each of these. First up, bias. AI learns from existing data, which often contains historical biases and stereotypes. Let's look at a few scenarios. Here's a scenario. A teacher asks AI to generate writing prompts about different careers. The AI consistently describes doctors and engineers as he and nurses and teachers as she, or generates images where CEOs are predominantly male and administrative assistants are predominantly female. These kinds of results reinforce gender stereotypes that can limit students' aspirations. Or maybe you're doing research on holidays. You ask AI to generate a family celebrating a holiday. The AI might produce predominantly white, nuclear families celebrating Christmas, rarely depicting diverse family structures celebrating Eid, Diwali, or Lunar New Year. The impact here is students from diverse backgrounds not seeing themselves represented, sending the message that their experiences are other or less important. The takeaway for you as an educator is to always renew AI generated content for stereotypes and bias before sharing with your students. On the occasions you find them, use those bias outputs as teaching moments about equity and representation. Next up, over reliance. The point to stress here is don't outsource your professional judgment to AI. You as a teacher will always remain the expert. AI lacks the context about your students, your classroom culture, and the nuanced understanding that makes you an effective educator. Let's say a teacher uses AI to grade students' essays and provide feedback. The AI gives a low score to a student's creative narrative because it doesn't follow standard structure, missing that the student made a deliberate stylistic choice showing advanced writing skills. This is why your teacher judgment matters. You know each student's growth and trajectory, their learning goals, and when rule breaking shows their creativity versus a misunderstanding. How about lesson planning for diverse learners? Here's a scenario. AI generates a lesson plan that looks great on paper, but you know it won't work because it requires reading levels above half your class. It doesn't account for 3 students with sensory sensitivities and ignores that 2 students just experienced family trauma. Your teacher judgment matters because you understand the social emotional needs, the learning differences, and the current classroom dynamics that make or break a lesson. The takeaway here is for you as an educator to use AI as a brainstorming partner or efficiency tool, but always apply your professional expertise as the final decision maker. For our last topic on risk and challenges of using AI, let's discuss ethics. How can we ensure fairness, transparency, and responsible use when using AI? Say a teacher uses an AI powered reading assessment tool that adapts questions based on student responses. However, the tool was trained primarily on suburban, middle class student data. Students from different socioeconomic backgrounds or those who are English language learners receive questions that don't accurately measure their true comprehension because the AI misinterprets their response patterns. The ethical issue here is that the assessment may unfairly underestimate these students' abilities, impacting placement decisions and self esteem. The teaching moment: discuss with your students, age appropriately, how tools work differently for different people and why we need multiple ways to show what we know. Teachers, you set the tone for how AI is integrated ethically and responsibly in learning. You can be transparent with students about how and when you're using AI, and you can work together to build a framework for responsible AI use. Here are some points to consider when creating an ethical AI culture. Number one, establish clear guidelines about what AI use is acceptable, such as brainstorming, outlining, checking grammar, versus what constitutes plagiarism, such as submitting AI written content as your own. How do you want students to cite when they've used AI to assist them in their work? Number two, if you allow students to enhance their assignments through AI, ask yourself, can every student in my class complete this successfully regardless of their access to technology at home? Don't let AI become another divider between haves and have-nots. If needed, provide in-class time and devices for all students. Number three, teaching critical AI literacy, or in other words, teaching students to question AI. Frame AI as a tool that requires human oversight and critical thinking. Teach students to verify, question, and understand rather than blindly accept. In your classroom, that can look like have students fact checking AI responses together, deliberately showing examples of AI mistakes and discuss how to catch them. Ask, how do you know this AI answer is correct before accepting any AI generated work? And finally, emphasize that understanding is more valuable than having an answer. We always want to model responsible AI use ourselves. When we use AI for lesson planning or materials, mention it to students. When you choose not to use AI for something, explain why. Show them that thoughtful humans make intentional choices about when technology helps and when it doesn't. So, here's your challenge. Develop or revise your AI policy incorporating some of the conditions we reviewed. Think through what is acceptable for you regarding students using AI. Think about if or when you will allow students to use AI, and how can you ensure that this access is equitable? You've got to have a plan. Welcome to part 4, Data and Privacy Protection. In this section, we'll discuss how student privacy and data protection, especially for minors, must be prioritized over convenience. Why it matters. Students are minors who cannot legally consent to data collection or understand the long-term implications of sharing their information online. Because lawmakers recognize that children need extra protection, we have two major laws to protect student data and information online. The Children's Online Privacy Protection Act, also known as COPA, it specifically shields children under 13 from online data protection. And then the Family Educational Rights and Privacy Act, also known as FERPA, which protects students' records in federally funded schools and, among many things, requires students to protect personally identifiable information, or PII, in education records. So here are some red flags that teachers should be on the lookout for when making decisions about what technology you'll invest in. If you spot these warning signs, it's time to ask harder questions or walk away entirely. Let's dive in. Our first red flag is all about privacy and compliance, and this should be your non-negotiable starting point. If a vendor can't clearly explain their compliance with COPA and FERPA, or if their policies on data collection and sharing are vague, that's a major problem. Our students need extra safeguards. They can't advocate for their own privacy, and legally they're entitled to the highest levels of protection. Before you sign anything, ask the vendor directly. Show me your COPA compliance and explain your data policies in plain English. If they hesitate or give you runaround answers, walk away. Red flag number 2 is about control, specifically who's in the driver's seat when students interact with AI. If students can chat directly with AI or use generative AI tools without teacher oversight, if teachers can't review or edit AI outputs before students see them, or if there are no safeguards to prevent inappropriate content, you've got a serious problem. We wouldn't let a 5-year-old have unsupervised conversations with a stranger, and AI should work the same way. Every interaction should be teacher directed and teacher controlled, allowing teachers to review outputs, guide experiences, and maintain instructional integrity. If a vendor tells you their AI chatbot gives students independent learning experiences, ask yourself, is that really what you want for your 5th graders? Red flag number 3 is the evidence problem. When vendors make big promises but can't back them up. If you can't provide measurable outcomes or real success data, if they can't show you clear insights into how their tool actually improves learning, or if their claims sound too good to be true, you're likely being sold snake oil. AI should deliver actionable insights that genuinely improve instruction, not just add complexity to your day. Before you invest a single dollar, ask, What does success look like with your tool? And can you show me the data? Can you connect me with schools using this successfully? If they can't answer these questions concretely, keep shopping. Red flag number 4 is about whether this tool makes your life easier or harder. And frankly, teachers are drowning in platforms already. If the platform requires yet another login, doesn't integrate with your existing systems, creates more work instead of reducing your administrative burden, or functions as just an add on rather than a complete solution, it's going to cost you time every single day. Effective AI should streamline your workflow, save you time, and work seamlessly with what you already are using. Ask the vendor, how does this integrate with what we already have? Will this save me time or cost me time? If the demo requires you to log into 3 different systems to accomplish one task, imagine what that's going to feel like in your daily practice. Red flag number 5, the tool wasn't actually designed for your students at their age and grade level. Young learners especially have unique developmental needs that can't be ignored. The content isn't aligned with best practices like the science of reading or universal design for learning, if the interface is too complex for K through 5 students to navigate, if the tool was clearly designed for older students and it's just scaled down, or if it distracts from instruction rather than supporting it, it's the wrong tool for your classroom. A 6-year-old doesn't learn like a 16-year-old, so ask yourself, is this content developmentally appropriate? Would my kindergartners actually be able to use this? Does this align with how we teach foundational skills? If the answer is no, it doesn't matter how sophisticated the AI is. Red flag number 6 is about equity and inclusion, and this is a deal breaker. AI must serve all students equitably. The platform has no features to support students with disabilities, no accommodations for English language learners, no evidence of bias-aware design, limited multilingual family communication, or assumes a one-size-fits-all approach to learning. It's fundamentally flawed. Every child in your classroom deserves access to tools that honor their backgrounds, abilities, and learning needs. Ask the vendor, how does your tool support diverse learners? What accessibility features are built in? How are you addressing bias? If they look uncomfortable or they give you vague answers, you know equity wasn't a priority for them, and it absolutely should have been. Our final red flag is about the vendor themselves. Because AI integration isn't one and done purchase, it requires long-term partnerships and ongoing support. If the vendor has limited or no experience in your grade level, such as K through 5, or unclear financial stability, little to no professional development or training, slow or unresponsive customer support, or no clear roadmap for improvements, your investment is at risk. Ask, how long have you been working in K through 5? What's your financial backing? What does professional development look like? Who do I call when something goes wrong? A good vendor will welcome these questions and provide concrete answers. A questionable vendor will try to dodge them, and that tells you everything you need to know. So let's bring this all together. Before you invest in any AI platform, ask yourself one simple question. Does this tool make teaching more effective and learning more personalized, or does it just add another layer of technology? The right AI solution should be safe, it should be teacher controlled, it should be evidence based, and it should be purpose built for your learners. Anything less than that deserves serious scrutiny. You are the experts on your students. You know what they need. Trust your instincts. If something feels off during a demo, if a vendor can't answer your questions, if you spot any of these 7 red flags, pause. Ask harder questions and don't be afraid to walk away. Our students deserve AI tools that truly serve them. Let's make sure that's exactly what they get. So as we conclude, we want to emphasize the fact that this video is only the foundation. In later modules, we'll dive into the protocols for student use and classroom integration. So the big takeaway for this session has been that AI can be a powerful support in teaching, but it requires us as educators to use it with care, balancing its benefits with awareness of its limitations, ethics, and privacy concerns. So here we are at the end, and it's time for you to choose how you show your learning. Your first option is to generate a resource with any of the tools we've shown you here. Or option 2 is to develop or revise your AI policy using some of our tips and considerations. Or 3, create a checklist for reviewing AI tools using the red flags we've shared. Complete a challenge and share it in our community. Thank you for your time, and don't forget to connect.